15-year-old daughter was raped. She was raped in a bathroom by a boy wearing girls' clothes, and the Loudoun County School Board covered it up because it would have interfered with their transgendered policy during Pride Month. And that man, Scott Smith, because he went to a school board and tried to defend his daughter's rights, was condemned internationally.
What's good, YouTube? This is KB LaFleur. You can call me KB. Welcome back to another video, man. We got a guy calling out one of the judges, man, for pretty much covering up a case. How can I put it? Something happened to this 15-year-old girl because a man said, you know what? Hey, I feel like I'm a woman today. I'm going to use the woman's bathroom. And he wasn't really being a woman, right? He was going into that bathroom for one thing and one thing only. And now this 15-year-old girl is scarred for life because of that, right? Because of that. And see, this is something, man, that we have been talking about for years, right? I remember when they were talking about the bathroom policy for transgenders, right? This was back in, I believe, 2016, 2015, right? The issue with allowing trans to go into whatever bathroom they choose to is that you're opening up the door for a lot of men saying, hey, well, you know what, I'm a woman, right? And then going into the bathrooms with these women and making these women feel uncomfortable. It's sad, right? Because the only reason this did not break out, the only reason, man, this did not hit the news the way it should have is because, guess what? It was Pride Month. They said, you know what? We need to go ahead and keep this as quiet as possible. But why though? Right? But why? And the main reason is because, once again, you had Pride Month coming around the corner. So they're saying, you know what? We don't want to put this out because it's going to mess up Pride Month. Right? It's going to mess up Pride Month. And I could see why it would. I could see why it would. Right? And I get it. Right? Some people are going to say, well, you know what? You're talking about one case. Right? That's one case too many, people. That's one case too many. If they sat here and said, you know what, let's just do away with that, right? Do away with that. We're not even going to consider that bill. We're not even going to consider that. Allow women stay in women's bathroom, men stay in men's bathroom. If you feel like, you know what, hey, I'm this day and I'm that day, then you need to make a bathroom strictly for transgenders. Period. Point blank. Period. That's what needs to happen. But for whatever reason, we have to appeal to liberal ideas. It's no different than when people sitting over here yelling, hey, well, you know what? Trans age. Y'all understand trans age is pretty much saying, I mean, y'all know what transgender mean. So trans age, right? You have trans age where you have people who can be 60 years of age and claim out of nowhere that they're a 10-year-old little boy, that they're a 10-year-old little girl. And it's mainly going to be older men, right? It's mainly going to be older men. Let's call it out. Let's call it for what it is. It's mainly going to be older men. So we're saying this stuff is okay. And we're allowing that, right? And you have one of my homeboys, right, who with this trans age stuff, who's saying, man, bro, that's not liberals, bro. That's not liberals. Those are some weird people, right? It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. You're sitting over here saying, well, you know what? Hey, if you feel like you're transgender, you can go into the bathroom with little girls. Right? A man can go into the bathroom with little girls. Same thing with trans age. It's literally the same thing. Where a guy or a girl who's literally 60-something years of age claiming that they're 10 years of age. They're 15 years of age. Right? But make sense of that. If you're going to say, okay, it's okay for a man who claims to be a woman to go into the bathroom with little girls, if you're saying that's okay, then you have to say it's okay for a 60-year-old man to still go to elementary school. You have to say that's okay. You have to say that's okay for a 60-year-old man to sit over here and mess around with what? These youngins, right? But guess what? Guess what? They're not gonna jump on that. Once it gets that serious, then they're gonna want to say, hey, well, you know what? This is going a little too far, bruh. Allowing men to go inside of women's bathrooms is already crossing the line. It's already crossing the line. We're making women and little girls feel uncomfortable. I'm a feminist today, right? This is the type of ish that I'm talking about. This is the type of stuff that a lot of your real feminists should be arguing for. Well, why are we allowing men to just sit over here and just go into women's bathrooms just because they say they're a woman? Why are we allowing that? Why are we allowing men to compete against women, knowing that even though they take all these medications and stuff just so they can be as weak as a woman, somehow they're still beating women out? Why are we allowing that to happen? Your feminists aren't talking about that. They want to talk about the patriarchy and how that exists and the wage gap and some irrelevant ish and stuff they don't want to take accountability for. How about you talk about things like this, right? Because now, once again, you have a 15-year-old little girl scarred for something, man, that can easily, something that could have been easily avoidable or avoided or whatever, right? You could have avoided that by simply saying, hey, you know what? Men stay in men's bathroom, women stay in women's bathroom. And if you're a trans, you feel like you're a woman one day and you feel like you're a donkey the next and you feel like you're a pig the next, you go to the transgender bathroom. Point blank period. And that's how we need to leave it as, right? But let's look at this video.
15-year-old daughter was raped. She was raped in a bathroom by a boy wearing girls' clothes. And the Loudoun County School Board covered it up because it would have interfered with their transgendered policy during Pride Month. And that man, Scott Smith, because he went to a school board and tried to defend his daughter's rights, was condemned internationally. Do you apologize to Scott Smith and his 15-year-old daughter, Judge?
Senator, anyone whose child was raped is the most horrific crime I can imagine, and is certainly entitled and protected by the First Amendment to protest to their school board about this.
But he was cited by the School Board Association
That's fine,
as a
but that's
domestic
not-
terrorist, which we now know that letter and those reports were the basis for your
No, Senator,
this is
that's wrong.
shameful. Judge, this is shameful. This testimony, your directive, your performance is shameful.
That's not correct.
Thank God you are not on the Supreme Court. You should resign in disgrace, Judge.
Finally, right? Finally, somebody, man, that knows what they're talking about. Somebody that's saying, hey, man, we gotta speak out against this mess. The girl that was a victim in this situation was probably one of their own, right? Was probably one of their own. But guess what, though? When you're talking about the government, you're talking about these judges, when you're talking about liberals, when they're pushing the agenda, when they're pushing an agenda, they don't care who gets hurt. They don't care who gets hurt. It's sad. Right? It's sad. As long as money is involved and as long as an agenda needs to be met, they don't care who gets hurt. Even if it's their own people, they don't care. Because guess what? It's all about the agenda. You might be hurting right now, but guess what? This right here is going to last for freaking the next 100 years. So we need to guess what? We need to be putting more of our focus on here. And then if you are in our way, you're going to get smacked out the way. Little girls, man, feeling unsafe, right? Oh, well, you're talking about one case, right? Best believe, man, it has happened numerous of times. Now, guess what? You're talking about a small case. You're talking about one case versus how many other cases that actually happened in the same situation? How many other cases that's similar to this happened? Right? I'm pretty sure, man, it's not many, but at the end of the day, it's one too many, right? It's one too many. This could be avoided, right? This could be avoided. This girl, along with other little girls, man, who had the same situation happen to them, this could have been avoided if we just simply use common sense, right? And said, you know what? Hey, let's not constantly keep falling for this liberal type of mindset and this type of BS that society loves to be a part of. Let's go back to common sense. Let's go back to common sense. Common sense says, man, hey, listen, if you are a guy, go to the guy's bathroom. If you're a woman, go to the woman's bathroom. And guess what? Common sense will also say, guess what? If you have people who feel like, you know what, hey, they're feeling like a female one day and the next day they're feeling like a man and the next day they're feeling like God or whatever, do you need to make a bathroom for transgenders? Period. There's nothing against them. But you have to make a bathroom for them. Because once again, this is KB feminist. This is the KB feminist talking. This is KB feminist talking. And once again, right, for the people who swear up and down that trans age is way different than what these people are trying to push for today, dog, it's not, right? It's not. Liberals are pushing transgenderism and transageism, all right? If that's even a word, right? They're pushing that, right? They're pushing that. That's an agenda. They're pushing that. They all fall under the same category. At the end of the day, they all fall under the same category. They're all pushing a piss poor agenda. And my only thing is, I'm gonna leave it here. My only thing is, when are we going to start making conscious decisions, man? right? When as a whole, as a society, we're going to start making conscious decisions and stop allowing liberals to dictate how society is ran. Y'all do me a huge favor, man. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, leave me a subscribe.